of one of the assistant coaches chasing Caitlin Clark down as she's riling up the crowd. And it seems like she's getting scolded, reprimanded, told, hey, all that hyping up, don't do that. Don't do it. Let's take a look here first. Now here we go. Body language doctor. Body language doctor is out and about. Kayla Clark's like, what the hell?
Clark is in her natural element. Arms raised, crowd roaring, momentum swinging her team's way. This is what she does. This is what made her a phenomenon long before she ever stepped into the WNBA. She feeds energy, she creates electricity, and she turns games into events. But then, in a blink, something feels off. An assistant coach rushes toward her and physically pulls her back mid-celebration. Not gently guiding. Not a quick tap. A firm grab that immediately breaks the moment. Caitlin's face changes instantly. The joy drains. She freezes. That look wasn't anger or defiance. It was confusion. The kind of confusion that comes when you realize something you thought was allowed suddenly isn't anymore.
Clark has gotten to the point where she realizes if she gives the ball to Natasha Howard, not only is she not going to get the ball back, but Natasha Howard isn't even going to look in her direction. We have officially reached that.
Slow the clip down frame by frame, and the story becomes impossible to ignore. Caitlin stops moving altogether. Her shoulders tense. Her eyes widen slightly. She looks around, almost checking if anyone else saw what just happened. Elite athletes are trained to absorb criticism, take contact, and move on. But this wasn't a basketball correction. This was an emotional interruption. Body language experts will tell you that sudden stillness like that signals shock, not defiance. In that brief pause, you can see the moment Caitlin recalibrates, like she's asking herself what the rules actually are now.
So look, I don't think it's any secret that I'm not a fan of the Indiana Fever backroom staff. I'm not a fan of what they're trying to do to Caitlin Clark, and I fully believe they're trying to diminish. They're trying to dim the flame of Caitlin, and they're trying to make her fit in to what the WNBA used to be, rather than fit out and be her. I mean that. Like, that is my opinion, and there's no question about it.
Here's what makes this situation even more baffling: the game itself. Indiana wasn't clinging to a narrow lead. They weren't in crisis mode. They were comfortably ahead. Caitlin was being subbed out and wasn't returning to the game. There was no urgency, no strategic emergency, no reason to shut anything down. This wasn't about discipline. This wasn't about focus. This was a harmless, organic moment of connection between a star and the fans, and it was forcibly stopped for no clear basketball reason.
So everybody online is talking about this play during one of the games where, as you're going to see, one of the coaches for the Indiana Fever just went and pretty much almost tackled Caitlin Clark for getting the crowd riled up. Man, why is she doing it? And I want to say that's this lady right here, Karima Christmas Kelly, one of the assistant coaches. And as you seen right there, she just seemed to have went and grabbed the Caitlin Clark as Caitlin Clark was trying to get the team, the crowd amped up for a big time game.
Fans didn't react to this clip because it looked dramatic. They reacted because it felt familiar. Caitlin Clark has been doing this since Iowa, celebrating, hyping crowds, bringing joy and swagger into women's basketball. That confidence is not an accessory to her game, it's the engine. When you interfere with that, you're not correcting behavior, you're disrupting rhythm. Players like Caitlin don't just score points, they create atmosphere. Taking that away doesn't just quiet her, it quiets the building.
Like, this clip getting shown again, and it's just, in my opinion, is completely unacceptable. It is completely unacceptable. Like, if a coach did this to any other player in the league, they'd be fired. or they'd at least be questionable and being fired. Then goes and hits a step back three on JC Sheldon. And she goes, the whole crowd's going nuts. And she comes, and she's getting subbed off, by the way, at this stage. She's getting subbed off for the game. She doesn't go back in the game at this stage. So it's not like it's a close game. They're up 20. She does not see the floor again. Caitlin Clark is there hyping up the crowd. She's there trying to hype up the crowd. Exactly what you want. Exactly what you want. You want to see this version of Caitlin. You want to see this player. And watch what happens here. So the coach just grabs her. Just grabs her out of nowhere. And I'm like, I don't think there's anything too malicious in that. I don't know if there's anything too malicious. We don't know what's said. But like, you can't just grab.
Ask yourself honestly, if this happened to almost any other star in the league, would the response be this quiet? If a coach physically grabbed a different marquee player mid-celebration, the outrage would be immediate. Analysts would dissect it. Fans would demand explanations. But here, we're told to downplay it, to assume good intentions, to move on. That selective tolerance is what's driving people crazy, because respect shouldn't depend on who you are or how big your spotlight is.
That is transpiring with the Indiana Fever, but I said this yesterday, there is definitely something going on within the locker room, the front office. Something is off, man. This is the third situation in one game we have had involving Caitlin Clark and the coaching staff and pretty much another player. We had the Natasha Howard situation where Caitlin Clark bent down to tie her shoe up because she knew Natasha Howard wasn't even going to pass her the damn ball. And I'm telling you right now, that whole situation is crazy in itself. Ever since DeWanna Bonner been gone, they have simply turned this thing into the Natasha Howard team.
This clip hit harder because it stacked onto everything fans have already been noticing. Long stretches where Caitlin barely touches the ball. Possessions where she's wide open, spacing perfectly, and still ignored. Cameras catching her body language, hands on hips, eyes drifting, tying her shoe while plays unfold without her. These moments by themselves might be brushed off. Together, they paint a picture of a star being slowly marginalized within her own system.
Last season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was 26.5% of all economic activity. As a rookie, merchandise in the league went up 234%. But here was the one that struck me. Before she got there, the Indiana Fever, the valuation of the franchise was $90 million. After playing, 40 games, the valuation of that team now is $340 million. I don't think it's a game you duplicate. There is no second Steph Curry. There is no other player that plays like that. She could be $1 billion athlete. Like, when I see these numbers, I'm like, oh, this is...
Caitlin Clark didn't arrive in the WNBA as a normal rookie. She arrived as a movement. Ratings surged the moment she stepped onto the court. Arenas sold out. Fans who had never watched a WNBA game tuned in just to see her play. Entire franchises felt her presence economically and culturally. That level of impact usually changes how organizations operate. Instead of adapting to her gravity, Indiana often looks uncomfortable with it.
Has been knocked on her ass. She's been knocked on her ass. She's been cheap-shotted. She's been poked in the eye. Everything. They have beat the Connecticut Sun. This is a month ago nearly. The Connecticut Sun beat the crap out of her. Absolutely beat the crap out of each other. But
from a pure basketball perspective, this is baffling. Coaches spend decades searching for players who bend defenses just by existing on the floor. Caitlin does that effortlessly. Defenders pick her up near half court. Passing lanes open. Teammates benefit even when she doesn't shoot. That's not something you suppress. That's something you build everything around. Yet the Fever often look like they're trying to fit Caitlin into a pre-existing mold instead of reshaping the system around her once-in-a-generation skill set.
Body had put on there, has this coach been reprimanded, suspended, fired? This is really terrible behavior. What is happening behind the scenes? If the WNBA wants to do an investigation, they might want to look into the Fever staff treatment of Caitlin Clark. And you see right here, women are equal, correct? We all know the story. This will be if there was a male coach, why the double standard? Fire her. Coach's posture is interesting. I remember seeing it live and thought it was weird.
Then there's the financial reality. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the Indiana Fever were valued around $90 million. Less than a full season later, that valuation exploded past $300 million. Merchandise sales jumped league-wide. TV ratings followed her schedule. These aren't hypotheticals. These are documented outcomes. When one player drives that much value, you don't restrain them. You protect them, empower them, and showcase them.
No one is giving you a chance, and it's not fun no more. Angel Reese fans no longer making it fun. They've been very draining and exhausting. The Caitlin Clark haters is no longer making it fun. They draining and exhausting. Your fans, some of the CC fans are no longer making it fun. They are draining and exhausting. Not one, is giving you the opportunity in your era to grow, for you to get better. Everyone has high expectations of you because of what you did your first year.
Fans are sensing now isn't about stat lines or shooting percentages. It's emotional. Caitlin used to play with visible joy, smiling, celebrating, feeding off the moment. Recently, that joy looks muted. Still there, but quieter. That doesn't happen because of normal rookie struggles. It happens when a player feels constantly corrected, second-guessed, or restrained. Over time, even the most competitive spirits feel that weight.
Clark getting basically wrecked. This is one of the worst decisions that I have ever seen any league engage in. Caitlin Clark is the biggest draw for a team sport in my life relative to the audience that would be fans of the sport without her. Bigger than Michael Jordan was for the NBA, bigger than any NFL star has ever been. All of those sports were very popular before those athletes got there. Caitlin Clark is the golden goose. Every game she is dropping golden eggs, and they are trying to strangle the golden goose to death. It's one of the dumbest things.
Great organizations expand to fit greatness. Insecure ones try to control it. When a star feels too big for the system, the solution isn't to shrink the star, it's to evolve the structure. Caitlin Clark was never meant to blend in quietly. She was drafted to lead, to disrupt norms, and to elevate the entire product. Trying to sand down those edges doesn't create harmony, it creates tension.